Hello everyone, we are from Group 5 and we are going to give a presentation about Chapter 6. It's about motivation, its concept, and implementation. Today we will cover 5 learning objective. So moving on to the first learning objective.
So now I'm going to be explaining about the job characteristic model. So this job characteristic model is developed by Richard and Oldham. So basically this is a model that propose any job can be described in terms of 5 core job dimensions. So the first one here we have the skill variety. So the skill variety is when a job require different activities using specialized skills and talent. And we also have the example here. The store manager that handle customer complaints, create employee schedule, order product, train new manager, and do numerous tasks will get a high score on skill variety because the job will require different skills and talents. While, for example, a grocery store cashier will have a low scores on skill variety because they only scan the groceries and deal with customer all days. So the job doesn't require like many different skills and talents. And we also have the second one here, that is task identity. So task identity is the characteristic of job when the job require completion of a whole and identifiable piece of work. For example, we have a designer that designs an entire room. They will get a high scores on task identity than a designer that just designing a window treatments. So the third one, we have the task significance. So task significance is basically a job characteristic when the job itself will affect the life or work of the other people. So for example, we have a doctor. So a doctor that help patients in ICU, they will have a high level of task significance than a janitor who sweep the floors. It is because the doctor here that help patients in ICU will have a direct effect to the life of other people, and in this case is their patients. And the fourth one is autonomy. So autonomy is the degree of freedom employee will have to complete their work. So autonomy here means that their employee will have a freedom to choose how to do their work and how to schedule their work. And for example, a teacher that designed their curriculum, here they will have a high degree of autonomy than a teacher who just teach a pre-planned curriculum on a school administration schedule. And the last one we have is the feedback. So basically, feedback is the degree to which carrying out work activities will generate direct and clear information about their own performance. So the example here we have a job with high feedback is the janitor that clean the bathrooms. Since a janitor that clean the bathrooms, they can take a look at the bathrooms and see how effective they work after they're finished their work. While someone who works on a manufacturing line, they will have a low level on feedback. Because what? Because they may not know how effective they were at their job until the maybe quality assurance people step in and check their work. So this is the job characteristic model that we have. As you can see here, that there is the 5 core job dimensions that I already explained before. So the theory states that each of core job dimensions will have an important effects on the critical psychological states of the personal individual employee, and these critical psychological states will also affect the personal and work outcomes of the employee as stated in this model. So if all 5 characteristics of job or dimensions are combined together, then we will be able to come up with a single figure or index that will act as the indicator of the overall motivating potential of the job being evaluated. So this index will essentially show the possibility of a job that affect the attitudes and behavior of the employee. And this index is called as the MPS, or the motivating potential score. And we also have the formula here, that is skill variety add by task identity plus test significant divided by 3 multiplied by autonomy and feedback will equal to the MPS or motivating potential score. So when the motivations of each core job dimensions is at the highest level, there is a relationship between the MPS and its characteristic. So if all 5 core job characteristic or dimensions are relatively high, there is also a high probability that the worker will experience the 3 psychological states in the previous model, and this will naturally result to the positive outcomes of the employee.
Job rotation is one of the alternatives that a firm can do to prevent employees from suffering from over-routinization of their work. Job rotation, or the periodic shifting of an employee from one task to another similar skill requirements at the same organizational level. Job rotation is also known as cross-training. Not only the employees, but managers are also sometimes rotated through jobs too, to help them get a picture of a whole organization. Job rotation can be applied in any setting where cross-training is feasible, from manufacturing floors to hospital wards. For example, Heineken has a job rotation where their traineeships will get several assignments as they will be rotating in various departments, such as packaging, product development, brewing, quality assurance, and packaging development. Once they have completed the program, trainees are equipped to start as technologists in various Heineken departments, and they obtain different skills and competencies that leading to a more flexible workforce in which people are able to do more than one job. For the pros and cons, the pros are, first is to obtain new skills because they work from different departments which have their own expertise. Second is reduce boredom. Job rotation ensures a change of scenery with new responsibilities that challenge the employee to learn and adapt. This is a great way to reduce boredom, motivate employees, and increase their personal agility. Third is, the use of job rotation has been shown to increase job satisfaction and organizational commitment, because reducing the stress burden on employees who do monotonous work has the best effect on enhancing employees' organizational commitment and reach the ultimate goal to increase employees' job satisfaction and encourage them to stay in the career. The last one is help employees understand how their work contributes to the organization. For the cons, first is work that is done repeatedly may become habitual routine, which makes decision-making more automatic and efficient. But with job rotation, with which the employees move from one department to another, it can make decision-making more difficult and less thoughtfully considered. Second, training costs increase when each rotation necessitates a round of training. Third is moving a worker into a new position reduces overall productivity for that role. Fourth is job rotation creates disruption when members of the work group have to adjust to new employees. The last one is supervisor may have to spend more time answering questions and monitoring the work of recently rotated employees. Relational job design is constructing jobs so employees see the positive difference they can make in the life of others directly through their work. Qualitative and quantitative research reveals that many employees describe the purpose of their work in terms of making a positive difference in other life. So, to make jobs more socially motivating is to better connect employees with the beneficiaries of the work by relating stories from customers who have found the company's product to be helpful so it can motivate individuals toward increased job performance. For example, the medical device manufacturer Medtronic invite people to describe how its products have improved or even saved their life and share these stories with employees during annual meetings, providing the employees a powerful reminder of the impact of their work. But personal contact with beneficiaries may not always be necessary. For example, when a doctor can see their patient can do activities normally through a video or photos after undergoing surgery due to a car accident that broke the patient's arm. Seeing photos or videos made it more personal, which elicited a feeling of empathy of the doctor. Then, why do these connections have such positive consequences? Meeting beneficiaries firsthand or even just seeing pictures of them allows employees to see that their action affect a real person and have tangible consequences. It makes customer or clients more memorable and emotionally vivid, which leads employees to consider the effect of their work actions more. Finally, connections allow employees to easily take the perspective of beneficiaries, which foster higher level of commitment.
Moving on to the next learning objective, we are going to discuss about arrangement and how it will empower or motivate employees. So first of all, the definition of work arrangement, it is the work plans or preparation for daily work, such as schedule and etc. We are going to mainly discuss about three things, that is flex time, job sharing, and telecommuting. So the first one is flex time. Flex time is the short for flexible working time. So basically, in this working arrangement, employees gets to choose their own working time or schedule. This flex time gives the employees flexibility to choose their work hours and thus motivates them. For example, if I am a morning person, I would choose to work from maybe 7 to 2, or maybe if I am not a morning person, I would choose to work from 10 to 4 so I could be more productive. So it could be concluded that this flexibility given to the employees could empower them. So for the next one is job sharing. Basically, this job sharing is an arrangement that allows two or more individuals to split a traditional 40-hour a week job. So, for example, person A works every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Person B works for every Tuesday and Saturday. And the next week, they will switch the shift or the arrangement. So, they get many free times without concerning about work. So, the employees get to spend their free time because their shift is covered by the other person. But however, the training, coordination, and administrative cost might be expensive. And lastly, there's telecommuting. So basically, telecommuting is working from home, or maybe the definition is working from home at least 2 days a week on a computer that is linked to the employer's office. This is just basically what many of us are doing or working from home. So this working arrangement could motivate employees for many reasons. For example, like no rush hour, traffic, or maybe flexible hours, or freedom to dress as you please, or maybe few interruptions, and etc. But however, this also could be bad for employees because from the employee standpoint, telecommuting can increase the feeling of isolation and reduce job satisfaction.
Employee involvement and participation is a process that uses employees' input to increase their commitment to organizational success. So, this means that if workers are engaged in decisions that increase their autonomy and control over their work lives, they will become more motivated, more committed to the organization, and more productive and also more satisfied with their jobs. So, these benefits don't stop with individuals because when teams are given more control over their work, morale and performance increase as well. And so this is the two forms. The first one is participative management. So common to all participative management programs is just joint decision making, in which subordinates share a significant degree of decision making power with their immediate superiors. And this kind of sharing can occur either formally through, say, briefings or surveys, or informally through daily consultations as a way to enhance motivation through trust and commitment. Participative management has at times been considered as a cure for poor morale and low productivity, and indeed, evidence suggests that participative management reduces the negative effects of job insecurity on satisfaction and turnover intentions. And then the second one is representative participation. So, representative participation redistributes power within an organization by putting labor's interest on a more equal footing with the interests of management and stockholders by including a small group of employees as participants in decision making. The two most common forms of representation are works councils and board representatives. So, work councils are groups of nominated or elected employees who must be consulted when management makes decisions about employees. Board representative, on the other hand, are employees who sit on a company's board of directors and represent employees' interest.
Previously, we know that pay is not the only factor driving job satisfaction. However, it does motivate people, and companies often underestimate its importance. One study found most top performers called pay is the top reason for them to work. Given that pay is so important, we will talk about what to pay employees and how to pay individual employees in this section. There are many ways to pay employees. The process of initially setting pay levels entails balancing internal equity, which is the worth of the job, to the organization that is usually established through a technical process called job evaluation, and external equity, which is the competitiveness of an organization's pay relative to pay in its industry that is usually established through pay surveys. Obviously, the best pay system reflects what the job is worth, while also staying competitive relative to the labor market. Setting pay also entails the adjustment according to the market rates. If companies pay less than market rates, it may get a high turnover because people tend to always try to find jobs that can pay them better. If companies pay more than market rate, it may get a better qualified, more highly motivated employee who will stay with the organization longer. And if company pay too much above the market rate, it can make the products or services too expensive. So it is a strategic decision that organization has to make with a clear trade-off. Now we will talk about how to reward individual employees through variable pay programs. A variable pay program is a pay plan which bases a portion of an employee's pay on some individual and organizational measure of performance, which also known as pay for performance. The variable portion may be all or part of the paycheck, and it also can be either optional for the employees or an accepted condition of employment. Variable pay plans have been used to compensate salespeople and executives, but the scope of variable pay jobs has broadened. Globally, around 80% of companies offer some form of variable pay plan. Unfortunately, not all employees see a strong connection between pay and performance. The result of pay for performance plans are mixed. The context and the receptivity of the individual play a large role. Secrecy also plays a role in the motivational success of variable pay plans. And is it good? Unfortunately, it's bad. Pay secrecy has a detrimental effect on job performance. It is very likely to increase employees' perception that pay is subjective, which can be demotivating. However, the fluctuation in variable pay is what makes these programs attractive to management. The piece rate, merit-based, bonus, profit sharing, and employee stock ownership plans are all forms of variable pay programs. A piece rate is a pay plan which workers are paid a fixed sum for each unit of production completed. A pure piece rate plan provides no base salary and pays the employee for only what he or she produces. So the more unit they sell, the more money they get paid for. This plan is known to produce higher productivity and wages, so they can be attractive to organizations and motivating for workers. However, for jobs that are determined by outside factors such as customer request, a piece rate plan is not motivating. So, although incentives are motivating, it is unrealistic to think that they work universally. A merit-based plan pays for individual performance based on performance appraisal ratings. A main advantage is that high performance can get bigger raises. If designed correctly, merit-based plans let individuals perceive a strong relationships between their performance and their rewards. Despite their intuitive appeal, merit pay plans have several limitations. First, it typically based on an annual performance appraisal and thus are only valid as the performance ratings, which are often subjective and connects with the issues of discrimination. 2. The pay raise pool of available funds fluctuates on economic or other conditions that have little to do with individual performance. And lastly, unions typically resist merit pay plans. Bonus is a pay plan that rewards employees for recent performance rather than historical performance. An annual bonus is a significant component of total compensation for many jobs. Bonuses can be very motivating for workers. However, the downside of bonuses is that they leave employees' pay more vulnerable to cuts. This is problematic, especially when employees depend on bonuses or take them for granted. A profit sharing plan distributes compensation based on some established formula designed around a company's profitability. These plans have also been linked to high levels of employee commitment and have positive impacts on employees' attitudes, the feeling of psychological ownership. However, profit sharing does not work in nonprofit organizations or often in public sector. An employee stock ownership plan or ESOP is a company established benefit plan in which employees acquire stocks, often below market prices, as part of their benefits. It indicates the increased employee satisfaction and innovation as it gives psychological experience of ownership. Even so, ESOPs may not inspire lower absenteeism or greater motivation, perhaps because the employee's actual monetary benefit comes with cashing in the stock at later date.